What's up, YouTube? It's Christian once again. Today, I decided I was gonna do something a little different. I was talking to some of my friends on Facebook, and I was kind of asking them what they thought I should do for a topic or whatever. And this light is really bright. Okay, and one of my friends suggested that I should do a topic on the recent teen suicides. Actually, I think there's been about 5 or 6 suicides in the last couple months or so. And in this blog, I just want to be really transparent because at some point in my life, I too struggled with the idea of taking my own life. Um, Things started to go kind of crazy in high school. There were a lot of problems with family and school and relationships, and at one point it was just way too much, and I found myself at the bottom of a bottomless pit. I know what it's like to spiral and feel hopeless, like there's no way out. I know that feeling. I've been there more than once. um let's see, in high school, my family and I were kind of falling out about my sexuality, and I was stressed about school. I was worried I wasn't going to graduate because my grades were slipping since I was so depressed. My first love and I had gone through some craziness, and we broke up. I mean, it's not always that you get dumped. I mean, I dumped him, but it was like a really, really painful experience for me. And I just, I spiraled for a long time, and I know what it's like for some of you that'll watch this video and say people just don't understand. And I know what that's like. My parents completely did not understand what I was going through. For the most part, I think my mom was like under the impression that I was doing everything I was doing for attention. It wasn't the case. I needed somebody there for me. But I guess because she didn't understand what I needed and why I needed it, she really couldn't be there for me. I used to go to school and put on a face every day like I was the happiest person in school. I was extremely popular. I knew hundreds of people. And I would go to school and smile and crack jokes and be silly every day and then come home. And when I got home, I would be home by myself. So I used to walk in the house, close and lock the door, and I literally couldn't make it past the hallway. I would just sink down the wall and cry. And a lot of times I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Sometimes when you're going through depression, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what's causing the depression. I know what it's like to just be crying for no reason. I mean, there's a reason, but you can't seem to put your finger on what it is because it's so much. And I know what that's like. I mean, in let me see, in 2000 and well, the 2007 when I was diagnosed with HIV, um, the breakup with my ex, who I was in a really, really serious relationship with, almost killed me. I thought I was going to lose my mind. Once again, my grades became an issue in school. They started to slip. And I used to just sit in my dorm room and cry. I said in one of my other videos that my eyebrows had grown back in and facial hair. And for me, being as meticulous as I am about my appearance, that was a sign of a problem. And I've been through professional care before, and they wanted to put me on Prozac and all kind of stuff like that, and my parents didn't really want me to be on psychoactive drugs, and I had heard bad things about Prozac, and I really didn't want to be on it myself, so we decided against that. But those were those were the first two encounters with depression and suicidal thoughts that I eventually got over. There was one that almost really pushed me over the edge. I was in Charlotte. I had left Winston-Salem State, and I had started working, and I had my own crib. I had just got a new car, and one day out of the clear blue sky, I lost my job. And as we all know, in this economy, losing your job is pretty much the worst thing that can happen to you. Those of us who have gone through this know unemployment doesn't pay you squat. I mean, they'll pay you a third of what you were making. You can't pay your bills on that. I waited, I think, probably about 8 months for unemployment to kick in. And as that 8 months went on, I saw my life crash down around me. I mean, I partied and I drank to drown the sorrow, but I watched myself lose my apartment. Um, there was still some family issues there. I I lost a lot of my furniture because I had nowhere to store it. I had nobody to help me move it. Um, After I lost my apartment, and this is y'all are my people, so I can be honest with you. For probably about 6 months of my life, I was homeless. I was from house to house, crib to crib, pillar to post, trying to figure out what I was gonna do. Because it's different when you're not looking for a job and when you're honestly looking for one and you can't find one. That's when you're actually looking and you still can't find a job. That's one of the hardest things ever. It hurts because people are looking at you like, oh, you're not trying, but you know deep down inside that you're doing everything you know how. So as I waited those 8 months and couch surfing, as we called it, I I started getting letters from my finance company about my car. And one night I was driving, and when money's not right, you try to decide what you're gonna pay. So I owed taxes. I needed to get my new tags, and I had a car payment and insurance, and I was trying to figure out which one it made more sense to pay. So I paid car note and insurance so I could keep my car. That car meant everything to me. It was, for a long time, it was the last piece of the world, the life that I watched die. That was the last piece that I had left, and I was going to do anything I could to keep that car. And as things got worse, my tags went bad on my car, and one night I was driving to a friend's house. We were going to go out, and I got pulled over, and they arrested me. They took my car and impounded it, took the tags off of my car. And this was just maybe a month before I actually moved to Chicago. That at that point I realized that that was pretty much the last time that I was going to drive my car. And it's funny how you attach emotion to a material object, but that was the last piece of my sanity. That was the last thing I had left. And when when I got out of jail, the first thing that I decided I was going to do was get my car back. I paid to get it out of the impound or whatever, but my unemployment was still not enough for me to catch up the car note, which had fallen behind as I blew through my savings and waited for unemployment to come on. I had no way out. So I eventually had to call my finance company and just tell them to come get it. That day that I actually signed those papers, I locked myself. I was staying with my sister at the time. I locked myself in the room. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. And I cried for 4 days straight. And there was a song. It's by Sia. It's called Breathe Me. It's one of my favorite songs now because I can look back and see what I made it through. I listened to that song probably 400 times in 4 days. It was on constant repeat because somehow it reminded me of the sorrow that I was going through. I wanted to die. I started thinking about the ways I could take my own life. I had a whole bottle of HIV antiviral meds. I was on the internet actually researching what each one would do if I took the whole bottle. So I understand. I really, really understand what that's like. And as I sat in my room and thought about the ways I was going to end my own life, it suddenly occurred to me that nothing that I went through was worth it. Nothing that I went through was worth killing myself. I wouldn't want to give the world the victory over me, the power to actually make me end my own life. And somehow I had an epiphany in that room. And it occurred to me that God got me everything that I had, and He can give it back. and I got up and I pulled myself together. And everybody has bad days, but I haven't really had any bad days like that anymore. I think what I really needed was a change of scenery. But I've done this video, and I don't want to make it too long, but I've done this video specifically to say this. If you are contemplating taking your own life, if you're contemplating suicide or anything like that, talk to somebody. There are plenty of 1-800 numbers and organizations in every city that will be willing to reach out and help you, because nothing is worth that. I heard a songwriter say that I'm not going to live in hell and then die and go to hell. So I just want you guys to realize that it's not worth it. Nothing is too hard, and God will never put more on you than you can bear. And if by chance you don't believe in God, you've gotten to the point where there is no God. I've been there. I know what that's like. But then you have to look to yourself and tell yourself that you're strong enough. You're strong enough to make it through anything that life throws at you. Life is a bitch and then you die. And then you die. You don't get to choose when to do that. And I can't even express how deeply hurt I am by the reports of these suicides, because I mean I really understand, and it saddens me that some people never got to the point where I am. I've been through a lot, but everything that you go through will shape you and mold you to be something better than you are. So when you're in the middle of something that you think you can't handle, just think about what you're going to be like on the outside. You're going to be stronger. You'll never be back where you are. And even if you should happen to be back where you are, you'll know your way out. God can and God will. Trust Him. All right? YouTube, I know that was a little heavy. I'm actually starting to feel a little emotional, so I'm going to end this video here. As usual, comment, subscribe, send me a message, send me an email, add me on Facebook. Let me know what you want to hear me talk about. I put a box on my channel wall for any suggestions that you want me to talk about. Anything like that. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Smooches.